Hey, what's up, guys? Got another episode of Tuned In Sports. My name is Bryson.
I'm Steve.
I'm Bennett.
I'm Don.
They are DENT SPORTS. We collectively are Tuned In Sports, and we are excited to be bringing another video for you guys. This is another division breakdown, and today we are going to be talking some about the AFC East. If you couldn't tell from the jerseys up here, interesting division this year, and we're excited to dig into it and break them down. We've had a great time doing these so far and are looking forward to doing more. And let's go ahead and dive into it with the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, man, I can't say enough about what they've been doing as of recent. I thought the trade for Stephon Diggs was a awesome move. Josh Allen's becoming a great player. I mean, to me, there's nothing but upside in that organization right now.
I would agree. I like the coaching staff. I think it's good. They've got a nice roster right now, providing everybody stays healthy. I think they got a chance to make the playoffs. I still think the road's going to run through New England in order to get there, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. You look at the Bills and some of their history hasn't always been too kind. In some cases, it's been pretty good, but then also not that good. The last probably couple of decades, they've been struggling for the most part. But over the last couple of years, it seems like since they got, what's the coach's name? McDermott, right? Sean McDermott. Yep. They've really started to establish some grounds for moving forward as opposed to just spinning their wheels in the mud. And I really think that they are going places. Whether their potential will be reached as far as this year, I think they're going to be like last year, where I think they'll make the playoffs. I don't know if they're necessarily going to have a deep run, but I do think that they will make the playoffs. And to be completely honest, they probably should have won that game last year if it wasn't for that crazy Watson play where he got hit by two guys and managed to stay standing. They're probably in the next round last year. So I think they only got better over the offseason. So with that being said, I don't see any reason why they couldn't be contenders to go deep into the playoffs. I just don't know if they're going to, because I think there's a lot of other really tough teams. But I think they're a solid team for sure.
Yeah, I think the Bills definitely, when you look at them, can only get better. Improving receiver, they had defense, quarterback play is good. I think the QB probably needs to take less risk when he runs, because I think that might put him in more risk if he doesn't learn how to slide or get out of situations for Allen. But if everything else, though, if it stays status quo with them, Bills Mafia has years of good football to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree with that. And I think moving forward, all they really need to do is just keep building around Allen. I definitely think, like Don said, if he doesn't learn to be a little safer, he could be one of those Carson Wentz type guys where you love to watch him when he's playing, but he's out all the time. But if that doesn't happen, I think there's no reason they shouldn't be competing. And I know Dad said that he thinks the division's still going to run through New England, and I'm inclined to probably agree with that. But I do think that the Bills could give them a run for their money for sure, and I would not be surprised at all if they ended up taking the division from them. I think we'll have to see what ends up happening. The season, there's still a lot of games left, and injuries, you never know. But if they stay healthy, they should be a force to be reckoned with for sure.
I agree.
So with that being said, let's move on to another improving team in the Miami Dolphins. Dad, what do you think about the Dolphins?
I like the color of the uniform. Looks nice. But that's about where it ends with me. I think the Dolphins are an organization kind of in limbo. Seems like they made a lot of good moves and that they should be getting better, but I just don't know. I'm not a big fan of the quarterback. I know Tua's sitting and waiting, but there's got to be a reason they're not playing him. So I don't know if Tua's ready to play, or maybe he's hurt or something. I'm not sure if that's the case still, but I don't know. I mean, Fitzpatrick, he's serviceable, but I mean, they're not going anywhere with him. So it looks like to me they're just loading up for another early draft pick is what's kind of going on there in my opinion. But that's my take on it.
Oh, I was going to say with the Dolphins, pretty much, as typical, they overpaid for Van Noy. So again, somebody else in the division takes the wrath of overpaying for a player that probably will not do what he is expected or what he did in New England.
Yeah.
They were pretty much the Jacksonville Jaguars of last year. So where they're going to they sold off everybody to try to get as many draft choices as they could. We'll see how they pan out with it. I think they're improved what they were over last year, but how far much improved that is, that's a question mark. And then we just don't know what Tua's actually got until he gets on the field. So again, speculation and hope is high, but reality, we'll have to see when it happens.
Yeah, I would tend to agree there. I think there's a lot of question marks there still. I mean, they brought in a lot of new players. Whether they're going to gel well or not, still yet to be found out, whether they'll play well together. I mean, I just, like Don said, they overpaid for Van Noy, and I think we'll have to see how Tua plays still.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree. They made a lot of moves during the offseason, and I think they are getting better, but unfortunately their ceiling is still, I mean, let's just say, getting better from 2 games. Well, that's not how much more improvement is that going to be. I mean, yeah, they're getting better, but if they only won, I don't know how many games they won last year, but it wasn't many. And getting better from that, isn't too hard to do. I think I liked a lot of the moves they made during the offseason. I agree with them when they say they overpaid for Van Noy, but they also brought in a couple other people that I thought, okay, well, it looks like they're at least making a push to do something, which is not something that I've really seen from them in a long time.
Well, one move I'll say I did like from them was signing Byron Jones. I thought that was a good signing.
Yep. And I definitely think, like they were talking about, Fitzpatrick is not it. And Tua, I think, could be, but again, if he is, why isn't he playing right now? So that whether that be injuries or maybe there's something else going on we don't know about, you're not, like Don said, you're not going to know till he steps foot on the field. But what I will say is, I think for the Dolphins, they should really just go with the strategy of, until they find out what Tua has, I think they should really just go with the strategy of loading up on defense, let that keep you in games, and then just invest in running backs, because that, you might not win everything, but at the same time, you can be solid with that having an okay quarterback, running game, and a defense. And you can muster up some wins with just that and be just fine without they might not go out and dominate the world or anything, but they can be respectable until they get that guy, or until they find out Tua is that guy, and then they can start adding pieces, weapons. But until then, if they don't, for whatever reason they haven't played Tua yet, and Fitzpatrick isn't really taking them anywhere at the moment. So that being said, I think if they just work on the running game, the offensive line, and then the defense, they can have a respectable team and not necessarily go places, but still be greatly improved from last year. And I think as a fan, that's all you can really ask for, because, they've just been putrid, pretty much. That's the best way to describe them. Just been terrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. So I definitely think the Dolphins, they're a team that's making some good moves moving forward, but I still think until you start seeing some results, people are just going to kind of be in the same thing, like, oh, well, there's the Dolphins for you, because,
Yeah.
it just seems like no matter what they do, they're at the bottom. Pretty
You know,
much.
basically, to go on to the Patriots, they're pretty much the exact opposite.
Yeah.
No matter what they do, they're at the top. So they just got rid of Brady. Cam's stepping in, and he's playing great. Nothing but good things to say about the Patriots. History, they got it all there. Best coach in the league, probably. Just
The Biz, they got it all.
yeah.
The guys in the gray shirts. they got it all.
Yeah, but
And
to me,
massage
just-
parlors, they got it all.
Yes.
They got it all.
I really just don't have anything bad to say about the Patriots organization.
Yeah. Nah, Patriots are enough said. All you got to do is look at all the championships and all the playoff appearances and playoff wins, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And they're a team that it doesn't seem to matter who's on the field, they're getting the most out of them.
Yep.
And for years, I think that they've, put talent out there that was less than stellar, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and yet they still find ways to win games all the time. And there's something to be said for that, because you watch the players that, they let go of, and they never turn out to be very good elsewhere. But they sure are good when they're in there, in New England. So, it's hard to say anything too negative outside of,
Couple of cheats here and there.
well, there's been a few things that have went on, but I don't think they're doing anything that nobody else isn't doing. It's just they're getting caught. So, but with that being said, all you can say is, they pretty much dominated football over the last decade and a half or whatever. So until they get knocked off the pedestal, I still see them winning the division. So, and Cam Newton is actually at this point in his career an upgrade from what Brady was last year. So, if they can maintain the running game and if he's able to stay healthy, I see them winning a lot of games, because the defense is still good. I still think they need to add some more wide receiver help, but we'll see what happens with that.
Well, with their history, I'm not sure they're going to.
No.
But
if Brady couldn't get it done, I'd be shocked if they give Cam what he wants.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I mentioned in a previous video, Cam is probably he is my favorite player in the NFL. So I definitely was, when I heard that he left the Panthers, I was sad. But when I heard he was going to the Patriots, I was actually really excited about it, because I knew, as they alluded to, he's not going to an organization where he's just going to sit there and take a beating all day long, and they're not going to put anybody around him, and he's just going to, get pounded all afternoon and lose by 45. That's not going to be him. or the Patriots, he's going to a place where he had a chance at winning, which I'm really excited about for him. With that being said, yeah, Patriots are the Patriots. They've been basically since I've been alive. Well, since Brady came in, essentially, they've been the team, if not, or one of the teams, if not the team in the NFL that no matter what seems to happen, it always, can you beat the Patriots is what it usually comes down to. Teams that have beat the Patriots have generally gone on to do great things. Teams that haven't beaten the Patriots, well, they've gone on to watch the Patriots from the couch as they continue to go on. And again, some of the better teams that you look back in history and think, oh, wow, that was a great team. A decent number of them have gone through New England in order to get to that next level. So with that being said, I definitely think New England is basically the standard for what an organization that cares about winning and just putting good product, solid, consistent teams out there year in and year out, having one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL definitely helps with that. But I also think that now that they've had that guy and the expectations are kind of up there higher, and with Cam coming in, I think that that's kind of going to be the new normal. I think sometimes all it takes is having somebody come in there and put a franchise or whatever in the right direction for them to kind of stay up there. I don't foresee them just, now that Brady left or whatever, just taking a huge fall back, because they got things figured out. It's kind of like the Warriors in basketball. They were not that great for a long time, but then they struck it big with Curry and Thompson and some of these other guys. And now, they still got those players, but they got new stadium. People are excited about the Warriors. They have a name. They're not just another team in the league. And now that they actually have a reason to perform well, I don't see them going anywhere for a while. I just see them, when Curry and Thompson go, then they're just going to replug and refill. And I see the same thing with the Patriots. It just replace the quarterback, replace the receivers, replace the running backs, replace this, replace that, and they're still going to just keep going.
As long as Belichick stays there, I will agree with that.
And even with that being said, Belichick, who knows when he'll be done, but I think there's a different standard now that they've won so much, so I don't think they're just going to hire some scrub of a coach. I think they'll have some guy come over that everybody looks at and says, oh, wow, that was a great signing. And then before you know it, it's still going to be Patriots, and maybe not be as dominant as they have been, but I still think they're going to be a team that is no slouch moving forward. Mm-hmm. And I just think that standard has been set now, thanks to Belichick, thanks to Brady, some of these other guys that have been through there. So,
yeah, we got a great team, and we're on to the Jets.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, wait, was that a Belichick line? I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Don't sell the Jets short, though. They've got a lot of great players.
Yeah.
All the guys working hard.
Yeah. They got a lot of players down there.
Working hard.
They've scrapped in each of their 15 losses, so they should be pretty solid.
I think, speaking of the Jets,
garbage.
Well, yeah. Well, that's basically what I was going to say. I just don't think this organization has any clue. Haven't been good in a little while. Darnold was good, but they aren't building around him. So.
No, they're just like their turf, really bad. So it's a joke. If this was a English Premier League, this would be one of the teams that would be relegated into another division real fast, because no matter what they do, it's just misstep over misstep over misstep, that underperform. You know, the quarterback caught mono last year. I mean,
Yeah.
hello? How do you do that, right? You know, it's just all just a hot mess there. So, and again, I don't see what they have there fixing anything. You know, obviously Gaines is not the answer, besides, you know, Ash from like the 90 Day Fiance, where he's like, hey, how you doing? You know, where he's got huge eyes like that. But I mean, it's just a joke until they clean house once again and try to build it up from the ground up. Nothing's going to change. I mean, like you said, you even got pieces. I mean, Le'Veon Bell, you sign all these high-priced free agents, and what do? Nothing.
Be the Jets.
Jets being Jets.
And then they lose their best defensive player because he didn't want to play there.
Yeah.
What team did he go to?
And he's like,
again?
oh, I'm going to go to Seattle. See you later.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm going to play for Pete Carroll. I like winning. So
Yeah, it's much
again,
better than going 16 here.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of the Le'Veon Bell and Sam Darnold, I don't think there's much to look at. That's very positive there.
No.
No, and Le'Veon Bell's hurt, so.
Yeah, you can look forward to a top 3 pick this year.
I was going to say,
Probably.
I would say, you know, in some cases, hashtag tank for Trevor, like you guys talked about in the Lions video.
Well,
but
the
even
scary thing about it is they're not tanking.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're not.
That's the worst thing about the whole situation.
Yeah.
They don't need to.
Yeah, they're supposed to
They're
be.
just playing.
Yeah, they did the tanking so that they could get to the point where they could move forward, and they're still no better.
Yeah.
If anything, they're worse.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'd basically be summarizing what they said. They're garbage, horrible.
I kind of liken the situation there to like when David Carr got to Houston. I mean, Darnold's just taking a beating.
Yeah.
You know, Darnold's got some ability. I'll be the first to admit it. I never was a big fan of his, but the kid has an arm, and I mean, he's got some talent. But I mean, they're just going to beat him into the ground to the point where he's got no, you know, absolutely no confidence in himself or, you know, anything around him to be able to get the job done. So
Yeah.
eventually he's going to be the one that pays the price.
Yep.
If he hasn't already. I mean, I don't know exactly what they're talking about with him, but I'll tell you, it's a sad situation. I can kind of relate, you know, as far as records and shit like that. I mean, my team's about the same. You know,
I can relate.
We're all garbage
too.
You know, we're just garbage.
Yeah.
And you can't be happy if you're a Jets fan. You just got to be frustrated. And then you see him spending money on guys like Le'Veon, who was out of the league for a whole year, and then you're like, oh yeah, let's give him a huge contract. You know, and it's like, well, how the fuck do you justify it? You know,
because really the fan base, all they really have to do look forward to is the draft, so they can boo.
Right.
You know, get on TV maybe.
Yep.
You know, as, you know, wearing bags on their heads with everything with it.
Yeah.
So
they're another organization.
bad.
Just like I said the other night in that Lions video, they're another organization. When the season starts back, fans, just boycott. Don't go in. Stay away. That's the best thing you can do to this.
Yeah.
Don't put up with this garbage that they put on the field.
Yeah.
And Darnold's going, how fast is that free agency coming?
Exactly.
Because I need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be on the first train out. I'll
Yeah,
guarantee
and
you that.
then they'll be on the quarterback search again. But the problem is that the quarterback's not going to answer or be the answer necessarily, because they have so many holes everywhere else. And by the time they fill those holes will want to leave again. And it's just a continuous cycle of just garbage play. And that's what you get when you just have a sucky organization that doesn't give a crap. That's essentially what it is. When you have that in your city and they really just don't care, the only thing they care about is making sure that they update their uniform every off season, and even that's turned into garbage. You know, it's just a mess. There's just no getting around it. I'm just glad I'm just glad that I'm not a fan of that team, because football season would be miserable. I think I might start watching soccer. I mean, seriously, I don't know what else to say. They're just horrible, and they will be until, like he said, they do a clean sweep from the bottom to the top, get rid of everybody, and just say start over. Maybe even move to a new city. I don't know. Maybe moving over to London might give them some more opportunity at some talent. I don't know. But for now, it's going to be more eating gum off the bottom of the table of the AFC East. And that's just what it's going to be.
It's garbage.
Even if they got decent, I don't think they're winning the AFC East.
No. Which moves us into who's winning the AFC East.
I've already stated my belief. I think it still goes through New England. Buffalo is much improved, and they've shown last year that they're more than capable of, being a tough out. And they're only going to get better. I agree with everything you guys said about the Bills. I mean, they got a lot of upside. I love the coach, and they got some weapons on the offense, and I mean, the defense is just solid.
Yep.
And to me, when I look at the teams that are really good, it all starts with the defense. If you got defense, you got a chance.
Yep.
When you got none, you're the Lions.
Yep.
So, there we go.
Yep.
Yep.
Me personally, I'm going to go with the Bills.
Tough division. We gotta play every game, every week. We'll move on from that.
I'm guessing he's taking the Patriots.
I think the easiest pick is obviously the Patriots, but I'm going to go with Bennett and actually say the Bills on this one. As big of a fan of Cam as I am, and as much as I think he's going to help the team, I just think the Bills might have something, and I think last year they proved that they could be more than just another team that scrapes their way into the playoffs just to get eliminated in the first round. Like I said before, they were only a play or two away from advancing, and I think they've only gotten better in the offseason. They got a huge number one receiver now. Beasley is still there. That dude is a beast. And I'm going with the Bills. I think somehow they're going to manage to pull it out, and hopefully for their fan base, they can win the division and make it through the first round. But
Yeah.
I think they could, but it really just comes down to matchups, I think. Depending on who they play, it might be a tougher out than others. So, yep. Any final thoughts on anything, guys?
Not really.
Somebody beat the Patriots, please.
Yep. And, it would be refreshing to see somebody else on top of the division for sure. But, again, like he said, until somebody knocks them off the perch, it's hard to see them going anywhere. So, with that being said, guys, this has been Tuned In Sports with a breakdown of the AFC East. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on all notifications so you can get an update every time we post something. We're having a great time with this series, and we will continue to bring more content to you in the series of series breakdowns. And next we will be doing the NFC East. So being an Eagles fan, I just can't wait to get into that one. Boy, oh boy, I love it, especially when my team sucks. So I just can't wait to get into that one. So with that being said, guys, like I said, Tuned In Sports, Bryson, Steve,
Bennett.
Done.
We'll see you guys in the next video.